Okay, so welcome to the second episode of That's What I'm Saying podcast. That's what I'm saying podcast.com. We are your hosts. I'm Shaun.
I'm Ny.
And so, now what do we call the second episode?
Uh, does your dick work?
How about we call it Weekend Dick and Gun Control? Because that's what we're talking about.
As long as we talk about some dicks, I'm good because this has been some interesting fucking weekend.
Got
Use my
you. Okay.
language.
So,
But
all
go
right.
ahead.
So we're gonna start off. We can do a little ratchet. Let's start off with Let's see. It has been a long week. So start off with
Mhm.
Tamar Braxton. I just want to touch on the sister and just say, I want to put hands on her. Not
Mhm.
in a good way though. Just kind of putting some good energy, some good vibes out there because she's going through some things.
Yeah.
And me as a woman, I've been through a divorce. I was married to Satan's spawn, so you know. So
I know.
I know, you go through a range of emotions. So, and I think that's what we're seeing play out. I don't know, I'm not a fan of the shaved head. Did you like the shaved head
I loved it, to be honest.
on
I
her?
I loved it on her. I think she has the face for it. I always think she wears too much makeup, but I think she has the face for it. I'm a fan of shaving. I love short hair. I have long hair now, but I think I look better with short hair, and I'm kind of like on tinkering on whether I should cut all my hair off because I love short hair.
See,
I
because you
love
have
short
you
hair.
have the head for it. You got the perfect head for it. Everybody does not have the head for it. So
Mhm.
I'm not a fan of Tamar with a shaved head. That's just
Mhm.
me. And
Mhm.
I think playing up the makeup that's like on 10 for her is too
Yeah.
much. It's just my personal, but I know she's going through some things. I just don't
Yeah.
want her playing this out like Britney Spears did in front of the camera. You remember that when she shaved her
Yeah.
head and was beating up people
Yeah.
with the umbrella. I just don't want that because you can quickly spiral out of
Yeah.
out of control. Because when you're like I said, speaking as a divorcee myself,
Mhm.
when you're going through that, everything that you knew, everything that you were accustomed to, people, places, and things,
Mhm.
everything changes. And some
Yeah.
people are just not built for that change. So
Mhm.
I'm sending out some good vibes to the sister because I don't want her to spiral out and make this into
Yeah.
something that don't
She did
she's
an interview. She did it. They both did an interview. She and her husband did this interview. I think it was the Talk or maybe it was the View, and I guess they kind of uh, came on to clear the air about what was going on in their marriage. And he came on and he was talking about how much he loved her and how he hasn't cheated on
Teddy
her and
Ruxpin.
Teddy Ruxpin. And to me, just looking at body language while he's talking, Tamar, and like I don't identify a lot with Tamar at all because we're just, I think in real life we probably wouldn't be friends. I don't know. I think
Mm-hmm.
we just move in different circles. However, what we do share in common is that we cannot control our facial expressions. So whatever we're
Mm-hmm.
thinking, it's going to be on our face. So while he's talking, I'm looking at her body language and I'm looking at her face, and everything he's saying, she's contradicting with her face. When he's saying how much he loves her, he hasn't cheated on her, her face is saying something totally different. So I think now what they're doing is kind of like damage control because it's probably
Mm-hmm.
affecting their bottom line. It's affecting their
Hmm.
money
Well, their house
in
is in
some way.
foreclosure, and remember
Yeah.
he had like a $10 million or something judgment against him from some record company. So, I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, the coins have been affected
So I
in
think that's
ways.
I think this is what that is about. Just kind of trying to clean up the message that has been spilt. And I'm not a fan of putting your personal business. I'm laughing right now,
Huh?
but
What?
I'm laughing.
¿Cómo se
But
dice?
I'm not a fan of putting specific information out in the public about like your current. How am I gonna say
What?
this? I'm about to contradict
I don't
myself,
know.
but
I'm putting
I
step
just I just don't
carefully.
like to put. Yeah, let me. I just some stuff needs to remain private. Let me just say that some stuff is
Okay.
entertainment, but some stuff, especially if you're in a a committed relationship like that. And if you're in even like marriage, you still have to protect that union because it's fragile.
Mhm.
You know, it could whether it's strong or you have to protect it because you never know what outside forces can do with that relationship. So you always have to protect it. So if you have a
Mhm.
relationship and you're in the public eye, you have to be even more vigilant. Did I say that right?
Mm-mm.
Vigilant?
Did you say it white? No, vigilant.
No, vigilant. Yeah, vigilant. I said it right. Sorry. I had a couple of drinks today. I had a
It's
couple of martinis.
vigilant,
So
motherfuckers.
vigilant. So
You want to be vigilant.
you have to be vigilant about protecting that union. So and I don't think they were as careful as they should have been. In this day and age, social media can get you in a lot of trouble, and
Mhm.
you can put too much out there. And I've done it sometimes, and I've typed something and I posted it, and then 2 seconds later I deleted it because I'm like, why am I telling it? This is nobody's business. You know what I mean? So nobody cares,
It's
and
like I want to share.
nobody needs to know that. You know what I'm saying? So, and
Mhm.
I only have 500 followers. She got 5 million, 500,000. So
Mhm.
some stuff needs to remain silent and remain personal. So hopefully they can come, they can get it together. And if they decide, to stay apart, then she'll do her self care and make herself, whole again. And he do the same and they can just come together and co-parent.
Yeah, and I
So
think that's
that's all I
that
got.
that part that you said about self-care, and I think that's really really important right now. And it's like if you cannot surround yourself with people that are on that same plane in terms of you've got to heal yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
you got to get rid of the people around you that are not about that. That self-care is so important, especially at that time when everything that you knew is falling apart. So the
Mm-hmm.
parts that you can control, which is you got to go inside yourself during that time. So like I said, I don't want Tamar to do a Britney.
Yeah.
And I know she's really close with her sisters. It reminds me of my sisters, and everybody has
Mm-hmm.
an opinion, and everybody got their take on it. But at the end of the day, you really have to protect you,
Mm-hmm.
when whatever her bottom line. And she's in the public eye, so it's kind of all out there, you know, you know, um,
Yeah.
when he didn't get, I think he got that extra skin. That's why I was like, I know he's not out here cheating with nobody,
Oh
but
Lord have mercy. I can't even imagine what it
Listen,
looks
the
like when
visual,
the
I don't
clothes
even
come
want the
off.
visual. I don't even want.
Turn the motherfucking lights out. I don't want to see it.
Like
I
what?
don't want
You
to see
got
it. Ew.
what? We
Ugh.
can put your stomach into a ponytail. I'm good.
Some people like a lot like the fluff.
Mhm.
I've never been a. Let me tell you. So this one guy I used to date back in my 20s, and we dated.
Mhm.
I say dated loosely, but we
Mhm.
dated a little bit in college, a little bit after. And when I got my first apartment, he came over. We would hang out, and he took a shower, and
Mhm.
he had some extra weight on him, and he was in the shower, and I went in there in the bathroom to do something, and I saw him in the shower.
Mhm.
At that moment, I said, I don't want to see this again. So from that point on, I was like, I don't like that. I don't like the extra fluff. So I'm very specific. I like lean men. I like
Yeah.
lean and tallish kind of men. I don't like that extra. And you don't have to be. I don't even like. You don't have to be like muscular and muscle bound or whatever. But I
Mhm.
just like a lean figure. That's
I
just
got
my.
you. And I think just kind of going off of that because I'm lean men are nice, but
Mhm.
I like a little more. Not like a little more meat. Like I like a little more muscle, but not fat. You know.
Yeah.
So two things that stand out for me. I remember back this guy saying, and he might have been a personal trainer or something. So he was like, you can't ask for something from a man that you don't have in yourself. And I was like, God damn, I gotta get in the gym. Like
Mhm.
that's so true. Like I know what
I
I want. So I
yeah.
gotta I gotta I gotta come to the table with the same thing. That was what. And then two, I remember, since we're talking old war stories here, back in the day, I dated this guy, and so we was gonna have our little intimate moment, and he was kind of, he was biggish. I like him kind of. He was
Mhm.
thick, but
Mhm.
girl, he took off his shirt. He had mammary glands bigger than
Girl, I
mine.
can't. I
Oh,
can't. I
like
can't.
I can't. I
I
can't. I mean, I'm
can't.
saying they was like 38, 42 C's or something like they was. I
I
couldn't do
absolutely.
it. I couldn't do it. And
Mm-mm.
and he must have known, so he was kind of shy. He wanted to kind of keep on his shirt. I was just like, I can't.
You
I
told him you
can't.
can't.
Yeah, I was like, I can't. I mean, I played it off. I'm nice.
Oh.
I'm nice. I played it off. But if
What did you
someone had asked
say?
me,
What did you say to him?
I was like, not, no, no, we're not gonna do it. Like whatever it was, I got out of it. I got out of it because when I felt his chest, it felt like I was feeling my chest. Like,
Oh God. Mm-mm.
no. So yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I can't do the extra. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
got
And
you.
there's some attractive like heavier dudes, but it's just that ain't. And there's somebody for everybody, and that's just
There
and
really is.
it's
I
just a
wanna I
preference.
wanna second that motion because I don't wanna bring the havoc to the big bros. There's a lot of them out
Yeah.
there, and I got love
Mhm.
for you. I'm just me
Mhm.
personally, my little personal thing I got going.
Yeah. It's just a preference I
Yeah.
have,
But
and
anyway,
that ain't
all right.
it. Yeah.
Something else I wanted to touch on. So Kanye West, have you seen the Get Out memes where they got?
You know what? I
Oh my
haven't.
gosh, where they got Kanye, basically looking like he in a second place. like from the
Which I
Get Out,
kind of agree,
which
but
is right. So from the award-winning movie Get Out, which what's funny
mhm.
that I'm one of those people. I caught on to Get Out. It was a slow burn for me because I actually went and saw. I was this is pre-Fire Stick days, but I went to see it in the
You and
movies.
that damn fire stick.
Girl, let me tell you. Let me say that's what I'm saying. It'll change your life. But I went to the movies to see Get Out,
Mhm.
and so here's my gauge of a movie in any movie. I fell asleep. I don't ever fall asleep in the movies, but I
Are you
fell
serious?
asleep. I sure did. I fell asleep. Now, granted, I was probably tired, and I was doing these like 11 p.m. movies, like
Yeah.
late night, whatever.
Mhm.
I fell asleep and I did not. I was like, man, and I woke up in the kind of at the end. And I was like, so I didn't know what the premise was until I did watch it again
Mhm.
post Fire Stick,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, that movie has so many metaphors.
Man.
That's a conversation. That's what I'm saying for another day. Like we gotta we
Mhm.
gotta really go in. But
Mhm.
that being said, the comparisons to Kanye West is just is the funniest thing because there's so much truth to it.
It
This
is.
man does not look happy. He does not look happy in any picture that you ever see. He's
Mm-mm.
dyed his hair blonde. He's done the whole Chris Brown, whatever thing. He looks unhappy.
Yeah. He
And for
looks.
all the milestones in his life, the marriage and the 3 kids, he
Mhm.
looks the most unhappy I've ever seen him. It's crazy.
He looks very unhappy, and when he was with Amber Rose, he looked very happy.
He smiled.
He smiled. At least he was smiling, and I can just imagine. I think I don't want to say it's all because he's with he married Kim, because it all I think it all kind of there's a lot of things that's contributing to it. I think a big part of it is his mom passed away,
Yeah.
and I think they
Yeah.
had like a very very strong bond. So I think that messed with him, and I think that also pushed him to be with their family because they're very family oriented. And I think he was looking for that.
Yeah.
However, they're very family oriented, but they're very shallow at the same time. So I don't know if they
Mhm.
have that sustenance that he's looking for. You know, so I
Right.
don't know. Hopefully he can pull himself out of it. And I really have a love hate relationship with the Kardashians because
Absolutely.
I don't watch them. I don't have cable, so I don't watch. I'm very selective on what I watch, and them bitches is not who I'm watching. However, I cannot deny that Kim is fly as shit. Like, she is fly. I can't even front on
I'll give it
her
up.
flyness. She's
Mhm.
fly. But to be married to that, and I don't even know how they have friends. I couldn't be her friend because all of the friends they've stolen their friend's man. So, and you can argue that if he can be stolen, he wasn't George. You can have that argument. That's fine, and I agree to that to some point. But when I have friends, I need to know that I don't want to be in a friendship where I'm uncomfortable if my man and my homegirl are to get alone. If I leave the room, or I don't want to have that kind of like
Right.
insecurity. You know what I'm saying? And I think in that I would be insecure because them bitches go all out for whoever they're trying to get. And I
This
can't.
is very true.
Yeah. So.
I was watching an interview. It was actually Lamar Odom was on Wendy Williams, and I'm saying this the truest shit he probably ever said. And he was Wendy had asked him basically, what is it about this family? I mean, it's like it's some sort of spell that they put on any man that comes into their circle. And
Mhm.
what is it? And why have I mean, you look at Bruce. Bruce is now Caitlyn. Lamar Odom was and is has terrible drug problems.
Mhm.
Kanye looks like he's about to jump off a bridge any day now.
Mhm.
Um, Kim was the first. Actually, this I think Kanye is her fourth husband. One, two, one,
He's her
two,
third. Her third husband.
third husband. So the
Mhm.
first and the second husband. I mean, there's always been an issue. Then you look at Scott Disick and the craziness to go to. So she was at Wendy was asking Lamar like, what do you think it is about these women when they go through where the men just can't hold themselves together? And he was
Mhm.
just saying, it's the power of these women. It's the bond that they have. Um, as a family, it's a family of women, and that
Mhm.
they're much stronger than the men. And I had to give it to him for even saying that and mention it. It's obviously you could look at it as true. So I think, your statement that you
Mhm.
said that, they're very family oriented, but at the same time they're very shallow, and this is just from the outside
Mhm.
looking in like, yeah, definitely agree with that. But there is a strength that
Mhm.
cannot be denied. I mean, this woman basically turned a sex tape into an empire.
Girl, an
Um,
empire. And you cannot hate on that
at
at
all. The
all. You
power
can't
of the
hate on
pussy
that.
times a million.
Man. And
Multi-million. So,
not only was it a sex tape, it was a sex tape with a black
you
man.
know,
You know what I'm saying?
like
With a black
you
man
start doing it all day for free.
for
And this bitch is
fucking
turned
free.
into an empire, a legacy for the whole family
Wow.
and generations to come. What are we
Mhm.
missing? what
Girl, so
what are
I,
we
I
not doing?
I can't. It's like it's a love hate thing. I can't hate on their success and their flyness and all, but in real life, we probably wouldn't be friends. You know what I'm saying? But poor Kanye. But and you know what? I was never really a Kanye fan. Like I like some of Kanye's music, but I think my perception of him as a person kind of overshadowed his work because I always thought he was like
Hmm.
very arrogant, kind of just annoying, and I just never really could get past. Like I like some of his music, but I was never like a diehard fan. However, I've really been listening to his music, and this I can't. He is talented. This
Absolutely.
dude is
So what do you
very,
now?
very.
What era of Kanye do you like the most?
Well, it's hard to say because I want to give Title a shout out. So
Mm-hmm.
Title has two different playlists that I'm listening to. So they have Kanye Essential, where they're just playing all of his music. So I don't know. They're like it's like random music. So they're like from all different albums. There's no like rhyme or reason. And then there is features with Kanye, where he's featured on different artists, their songs. So I'm listening to a combination. So I haven't like really sat down and listened to like albums, through. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't really say which era, but I do like the college drop. What's the college dropout? The dropout
Yeah,
era.
the first one.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that like those collabs he did with Jay Z with like niggas in Paris and because they sample like Sam is it Sam not saying Otis Redding. I love Otis Redding, so all those
Yeah.
samples I love that. Um, The Secret Life of Pablo. I think I'm kind of listening to that now, but I gotta come back to that once I like listen to like whole albums together to really say which era of Kanye that I like the best because I don't really know
That
yet.
you like. So here
Yeah.
my take on Kanye. Like I am a Kanye West fan. But it's my love is contingent upon what side of the bipolar Kanye West is on at a particular time. So I've seen him in concert twice. The first time I saw him, and I'm trying to think what album that was. It was it was Kanye on the good side of bipolar. So he was
Mhm.
obviously drinking all his water, drinking water, taking care of himself, on his meds. And
Mhm.
I want to say it was before his mother had passed.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it was I saw him in I saw him in I think I saw him in New York, and it was
Mhm.
one of the best. It made me even more of a Kanye West fan. That was about
Mhm.
I'd say about 8 7 8 years ago.
Okay.
Um, and he was just he was at his best, lyrically genius. You could see it. He was
Mhm.
happy. It was great. Now flash forward to about 4 years ago. I saw him in DC, Washington DC, and girl, I felt like I walked into um an Aleister Crowley devil initiation meeting. It was
Oh.
it was so first of all, it was just he was mad at somebody. So this is Kanye off his meds. He's on the other side of bipolar, not doing well, and he's mad at somebody. And if you ever dealt with someone who's bipolar, when they get mad at
Mhm.
somebody, they get mad at somebody.
Yeah.
So he
Mhm.
spent about 45 minutes of the concert. First of all, and it was Kanye. He was obviously he was on his Homer Simpson because he had a big belly and he
Oh.
had on a trench coat and some jeans. And remember the 40 below Timberlands that come all the way up to your almost to your knees. He had them on, and he
Okay.
had on a bejeweled black mask, and he
Wow.
did about four, and he was mad at somebody. So he about 40 minutes, about 40 45 minutes, he laid on the stage and he cursed the fuck out of somebody. I don't know who he was mad at. I
Mhm.
couldn't even decipher what it was, but all kind of f words, f bombs, and he gonna do this to this person, so the blah blah blah. And then the other half was like I said, it was like I felt like I walked into the initiation. It was like a blood initiation, and they brought a Jesus Christ on stage, and there was some devils and people in costume. It was like being in somebody's bad dream. It was the
Mhm.
worst. um if I didn't get the tickets for free, I would have walked out. But if I didn't,
Wow.
I mean, if I didn't, if it wasn't just like I was with somebody, it was a free show, but it was scary. Like I don't
Mhm.
know, and like I said, this was post. This is his mother had passed away.
Mhm.
He wasn't right. It was scary. It was scary to watch. I didn't know what
Mhm.
I was getting into, what was
Mhm.
going on. So
Yeah.
and this
I
was
think.
before the life of Pablo. I think yeah, it had to be. Obviously, it had to be because which I
Mhm.
like, but um, it was scary. I saw scary Kanye at that
Yeah.
point.
I think his mother. I think he's always had like these. I think he's always been bipolar. I think his mother is the one that probably kept him on a regimen with his meds.
Hmm.
And when she passed, he wanted to be strong enough to tell him you got to take your medicine or be on him about taking his medicine
Oh,
because I I
something.
I really think that's what it is. I think he's always had like this mental instability, but she was there. She was like his foundation, and she
Hmm.
kind of
I
kept
agree.
him stable. And and when she passed, it was just you know,
I agree because she was an educator, so I'm assuming
yeah.
she, had a little more into what was going on than the
Mhm.
average parent, and she was probably on it. I'm thinking
Mhm.
the same thing because like I said, the between the one concert and the other, seeing
Mhm.
him was like this man has completely come undone and was exploring some stuff that one it's like what gate to hell did you open up on this stage. It was, I
Mhm.
mean, it was, I like I said, it was scary. So um
Was that the
I
concert where his stage was in the middle of the stadium?
Yeah, and it was shaped like a cross, upside down cross.
Oh,
Hmm.
I don't know that. I just
Yeah, it
I
was the middle, and he came down
think
he came
so.
down out the sky, and then he had a
I'm
red
scared. That's too much for me to deal
suit
with.
on.
I
Yeah,
would have
it
been
was
freaked
it was
out. It would have
girl,
freaked me out.
I was sitting
Yeah.
there like, and I'm looking for the old Kanye. I'm like, what is this is not, I don't know. I
Mhm.
felt like I need to go to church or something afterward. Like I need to just say a prayer. Like what is going on? I mean, it was like the gate of hell had opened up on the stage. That's what it looked like to me. What
And then you got to kind of give it up to Kim for staying with him for so long because this is a lot to deal with. She has, she at that time she probably had what one or two kids, and she decided to have a third kid.
Yeah, well, I don't think they were married just yet, but they were together
Hmm.
at that point. So I given a I don't know. I think I think everybody has an ulterior motive. So I'm still trying to figure out
Hmm.
what the motive is because her coins is way more than his. So it's not
Right,
that.
right.
I don't necessarily think
Hmm.
she needed the street cred. She already had that from the video from the sex tape.
Hmm.
So what I mean
That's why I'm like,
they
it has to be. I think she it. That's why I give it up to her because I'm like, why is she still with him? Why is she doesn't have to be with him. She doesn't need the money. She doesn't need to latch onto his career. She got her own shit popping big time. So why does she need to be with him?
I don't
And
know.
she's reproduced with him. So that is like three times that you're like gambling with this mental problem because your kids can inherit this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
It's not
why?
canon, is it? Yeah, I mean it's already in them. And remember when he was hospitalized and oh man,
I don't know. So I don't
I'm
know,
feeling for the
Kanye.
brother. So okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
say okay, all right, all right. Moving on.
Moving along,
Moving
Kanye.
on. What else did you want to talk about?
Oh, Lord, you always put me on the spot. Let's say. Oh, you know what? We on your list. I don't want to take over your list, but some of the stuff you had on your list, I want to talk about.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about this march, this gun control march? What do you think about this?
Hmm. Well, I will say, when I was coming back from Atlanta yesterday, I was actually on the flight um at that most of the kids from the school, let me get it right, was traveling. So I was listening to the kids talking about it and talking about the bar, the rally, and a lot of them went with their parents. So it was a flight full of the kids.
Hmm.
Um, I just wanted to note that. But I'm still in the gathering information stage in a lot of ways. I mean, for one thing, I live, where I live, I basically live, less than 10 miles away from the school where this tragedy happened. So I was, very close, and it's, I drive by, I see it.
Hmm.
Um, I this I believe in you should be able, if that's what you want, you should be able to have a gun, but not everybody should have a gun. I think there were a lot of signs with this kid, this Cruz kid, with his mental state that should have put him on a list of never, no way, not in hell, not in this life, and it didn't happen.
Hmm.
So, I think, instead of just checking, and especially here in Florida, you don't really need a permit. I mean, I can go to a Walmart and I can buy a
That's a shame.
shotgun. It's
Hmm.
not, it's not, they do more with you trying to travel than it is, trying to get information on you if you want to like leave the state than they do with getting a gun. Um, but
They
I
put
think
more.
one
They put more restrictions on a woman's body than they do on guns.
that's
Crazy.
and just this whole debate, I'm like, what is the worth of a life? We're talking about gun
Hmm.
control, some people that want to own guns, and then we're talking about a life, and it's like, oh, well, guns don't kill people, people kill people. But
Hmm.
it's really it's the gun that you put in the hand of this person that may or may not shouldn't even have one in the first place. That's the issue. So if we
Hmm.
can I think if we can address that part right there, and honestly, it's not going to eradicate the problem. We're really talking about alleviating. It's not going to eradicate, people getting killed with guns. That's never going to happen. As long as
Hmm.
there's a gun. I mean, and it's, with technology now, you can print up a gun on a 3D printer, on a 4D printer. I mean, that's how
Right. Hmm.
that's the technology. So we're not even talking about getting rid of it, but we need to control how it gets in the hands of. And I mean,
Hmm.
we're talking about a problem. I'm conspiracy theorist that I am. The government was responsible for flooding the streets, in our
Hmm.
communities with guns,
Hmm.
making them available. So, we've got problems with theory and how how it's addressed and how it's getting into these hands of these people. But I mean, let's look at the psychological background. Like, why can't we do a psychological check? And that's not even going,
Mhm.
like I said, that's not even going to eradicate the problem, but maybe it'll alleviate it. Like, look, you need three
Mhm.
doctors to clearly clear you. If you've ever been on any type of medication, any mind altering medication, you don't need a
Mhm.
gun. You
Yeah.
know, if you're not over the age of, I mean, honestly, I'm like 25, and really, I think if you have a household with you know, like this particular kid, he's living in a household where they've got a whole bunch of guns.
Mm.
You know, I'm like, what does he need a collection for? What was, I don't
Mhm.
understand. You know, I don't
Mhm.
get it. I'm not from that lifestyle. Although I will say, you know, I dated this guy,
Mhm.
um, you know, and the thing, he's a white guy, but you
Oh,
know,
wait a minute. You never
okay, I
told
know.
me. Wait a minute. Wait a
Girl, girl,
minute. Wait a minute. You keep it
girl, quick,
secret.
fast, in a hurry. It wasn't even nothing. But this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm like, the mentality is just like, I don't get it. So the family was, I guess you would call them a hunting family, although he didn't hunt anything,
Yeah.
but they were gun
Mhm.
collectors. So you know,
Mhm.
it was like going online for me and finding a pair of shoes. It was the biggest thing, you know, when they came out with the new scope on the gun and blah blah blah, and you go and you get
Mhm.
accessories for your gun. I mean, and it just, it he's following all the you know, all the blogs about guns. I mean, it's a big thing, and it was a family thing, and that's how they bonded. So all the men in the family, they have
Mhm.
gun collections, and you come over and you know, you got a whole arsenal of
Mhm.
guns, and I'm like, what? I just didn't understand it, but it was a way for them to bond.
Mhm.
I didn't get it. But you know,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking in the midst, you know, you got kids and is you've got nieces and nephews and everybody's in the, and they all, you know, that was the lifestyle. So, you know, and you know, I'm just saying, like, that's a lifestyle that I don't know any black people that got guns like that. Maybe they know something that we don't know. I don't get it.
Mhm.
Not for me. So I'm still, like I said, still gathering information, but I think we need to address the mental health issues that go along and not make it so easy to buy a goddamn gun. If it's
Yeah.
harder for me to have an abortion than it is for me
Mm.
to go out here and buy a
Yeah.
gun, there's a problem
There's
with
a
that.
problem. And I don't understand why women's reproductive health is still like a running. Why is that your platform
It's
that you're
still a
running
topic
on?
for this, right?
I
It's
don't
still a topic up for
understand.
discussion.
I don't get it. I don't
Mhm.
get it. Like you can't tell me what to do with my shit.
But they will and they have and they can.
They
Look,
will, they have, and they can, which is crazy. But the thing with this march, the bone that I have to pick with this march is the same one that I had to pick with the women's march. Is because like when the whole a couple years ago when it was a whole centennial of the women's right to vote and women were marching celebrating and there were all these black women who were involved with it and I'm like you do realize that when women could vote you still could not vote so what are you celebrating what are you celebrating? So with this march, with these guns and these kids are marching, which I'm not knocking it at all, but we've had gun issues in the black community for how long? And no one is coming out to support our rallies.
not a
You know
damn.
what I mean? So are these same people that you're marching with, these black kids, are these same people that you're marching with, are they gonna come to the black neighborhoods and help you with the gun control in your neighborhoods? So I'm always like leery about kind of attaching myself with these grand gestures of support because I want to think are you gonna provide the same support for me and my community that I'm providing for your community.
Well, you know,
If someone came and shot up a black school, would this rally be happening? If the gun laws, if these gun laws that are going to be changed, are they being changed for the blacks? Or is it going to have the same impact on these black schools as it is for these white kids? I'm always thinking about that, and I'm always leery about that, and I always kind of want to give a middle finger to stuff like this because I'm like, we wouldn't get the same support. We wouldn't.
but this is very true. I think I was listening. I don't know who said it, but they were like, you know, it's the price of a white woman's tears that
Hmm.
that is the catalyst for for change. And
Mhm.
like you say, I mean, I agree totally with you. Like we wouldn't even be hearing about this
Mhm. Not at all.
if it, it wasn't, if it was just us,
There are so many black kids in Chicago and in Baltimore and in DC and in New York and in LA and in Miami that are getting killed from guns. Are we
Mhm.
rallying around this? All these guns are getting in the hands of these people in the hood. Let's talk about that. But we don't want to talk
No.
about that,
Mm-mm.
you
No.
know?
And no, I definitely I agree with you, and it's just kind of, and that's why I said like I'm still gathering information because I don't want to just jump on the bandwagon of
Mhm.
okay, y'all out there, and
Mhm.
what I feel about a protest. Like, well, we gonna carry signs again?
Right.
Like, we
I'm not, and I ain't doing that. I'm not protesting. I'm not like the women's march and my family's calling me, "Did you go march?" No, I
mm-mm.
didn't. I want to go get something to eat. I didn't march. I went out with my friends and we had drinks and we had a great time. But actually that day of the march, I hung out with two of my homegirls and we were like somewhere in Midtown and some women had come in from the march. They had on their little pink pussy hats or whatever the fuck they were wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was already at the bar. My other homegirl was at the bar, and my other friend was coming in. And this is supposed to be a day of solidarity of women. And
Mm-hmm.
they really like knocked her over to get through the door, like didn't even acknowledge her presence. And I'm like, where's the solidarity? You couldn't even hold the door for her.
Fake.
You know,
No.
that's what I'm saying. This fake solidarity y'all have. I'm not with it. I ain't with it at all. So, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
Y'all
I
can
hear
go
you.
kumbaya. I'm good. I go sit at the bar.
I'm just, I mean, I would really like to see some true change.
Mhm.
I'm not discounting. I really do want to see some change.
Mhm.
I just I'm a little bit of a give a little side eye to how this change is going to come, and they're trying to say, well, it's the catalyst is you got these, the young kids, and but it's, call them young white kids or young whatever, but it's a now it's a problem, and I don't want to keep saying. I just think I'm just got my side eye on it. um
Mhm.
and then another issue, you remember when number 45, what the stupidness that he said that give the teachers guns in school.
Oh my God, that's the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. These teachers don't even have pencils and paper for their kids,
You
but you
know
want
what
to give
I'm
them a
saying?
gun?
I
Give
was
me some
listening.
school
They were
supplies.
talking about putting up public housing near or on public school campuses specifically for
Girl,
teachers so that they can have affordable housing. And
girl.
now we're sitting here talking about you want to this number 45 with the stupidity. You want to
Oh
arm
my
the
gosh.
teachers in school. So now they are not only supposed to teach and be paid paupers' wages. Now they're supposed
Be
to act
snipers,
as
snipe
police
shooters.
officers, not mercenaries, and save lives.
Right. Come on. He is just so ridiculous. I'm like, I really think he like I don't even is this even something that you if you smoke weed and get high and would
This is
say,
why, right? And
is
it's
this
not. It's
something
not.
like
No, and it's not a
what is
drug. It's
this?
like
What is
I
he
don't
on?
know what drug you can sniff or inject that would give you this line of reasoning. The only person I think is someone who is not even bipolar, because bipolar, they have their periods of lucidity and they can kind of pull together.
Mhm.
It's like a person with paranoid schizophrenia. That's
Mhm.
that's what's playing out. And I said it. That's right. It's like a mind of a schizophrenic, and they have these delusions of grandeur, which obviously he's exhibited many many times.
Mhm.
But they're liars. They're liars because they believe in the lie. Like they believe in the world that they've created, and yeah, it might have ghosts and goblins and goons and all kind of stuff in it, but they believe, but they believe it, and they believe when those entities start talking to them. And I'm thinking like, this is look, this is a number 45 thing. This is him all day. So the craziness, and he
Mhm.
sat down. I was like, I can't even believe what I'm seeing. I don't want to make this about number 45, but I was just like, I remember he did the interview with the students from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas's school, and he said it, like it was the natural thing to do. Yeah, we're gonna give this the teachers, we're gonna train them and arm them with guns. Really?
Listen, let me tell you, as I'm not an educator, I'm not a teacher, but I have been in the school system for an extended amount of times, and
As
these
am I.
teachers already have a shitload of work on their shoulders. So on top of doing lesson plans and discipline and structuring and parent teacher conferences and
Hmm.
all this other stuff that they're
They
doing,
gotta be strapped,
now they have to be strapped and shoot sniper, and shoot.
sniper style.
Girl, this is just
Turn
ridiculous.
over the desk and learn how to put up a fort just in
Girl,
case. Get
it is
out of here.
absolutely, and the sad thing is, even if this illusion that he has comes to pass, who's going to suffer are the black kids. The black kids are the ones that are going to get shot. These black
Yep.
kids. That's what's going to end up happening because they're going to be in a situation, because anytime there's an aggressive situation, having a gun accelerates it 10 times, 100 times faster than if
Absolutely.
you
I mean,
don't
you
have
give
a
you
weapon.
give cowards a 10 balls, a ball
Hmm.
set. That's what it is. You give these people. I'm talking about. I wish we could just go back to a time when it was hand to hand. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these cowards, they don't know how to fight, and that's
Hmm.
what. And I don't want to get off, but this to me is why we need bullies, because you getting these kids and these people that they're so soft and so shallow. Like, yo, sticks and
Hmm.
stones break your bones. Like, that's how I grew
Right.
up. But
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You better be able to fight. Now it's like, okay, they can't handle it, so it's this
They go
one
get a
doing one
gun.
thing, or they go get a gun. Like,
Hmm.
this is the craziness. Like, what happened to the gooch? Remember the gooch off of
What was a different stroke?
yeah, the gooch will steal your lunch money, and
Uh-huh.
but you live to see another day. Now, did Arnold go
Hmm.
back and get a gun to go and shoot the gooch? No, because everybody has a role to play. You knew about the gooch. Look,
Uh-huh.
don't
Yeah.
don't don't bring your lunch money, or get your
Hide your
first.
lunch
You got
money,
to
or you
stand
be
up to the
smart about it.
gooch.
You either stand up or you be smart and slick about it. But
But to go back and let me go get a gun, like this that. Look, we can have a whole conversation on that, because that is the drugs that they're giving the kids. That's a
hmm
society. This is a social media thing. There's so many things that has created that type of person who uses that type of response.
hmm
When there's conflict.
hmm
Another story for another day. So okay, um,
So that's that. I did want to talk about this, but I think I'm going to scrap that because I'm just so tired of 45. I don't even want to even talk. He had an affair with a porn star, but you know what? I'm going to even scrap that topic because I don't even want to talk about him actually. I don't give a shit what he does with his dick, his little penis. I don't care. I'm scrapping that story. I don't even want to
I
talk
do
about
like
it.
how though she was so bold, and she was like, whatever little $130,000 she got to shut up. She's like, I will give you that money back, because game recognized game. And
Hmm.
really, she could stand to make so much more and about to make a come up. And I just tell her, go, Stormy, go for yours. If
Yeah,
that's what you got to do. She's like, I will give you the money back. That little
girl.
part, little piece of money that she
Yeah.
got. But
Get your money, boo. You had to endure that little penis. I know you have no orgasm, so
yeah, yeah.
so get your money, boo. Get it.
uh,
I know
uh,
it wasn't enjoyable.
hurt my
So
stomach.
gross.
Anyway. Okay, so
Yeah.
we've been talking a lot of woke. Do we have any ratchet that we wanna visit?
Oh, Lord, I had a weekend of ratchetness, an entire weekend of love and ratchet. God.
Speak on it, girl. That's what I'm saying.
So yesterday, today is Monday. So yesterday, one of my good girlfriends, she got married, and her wedding was absolutely beautiful. If I had any desire to get married, if I had someone to marry, I would have probably married them yesterday. It was just
Me, I'm sorry, but me sitting here listening to you talking about this wedding beautiful, like I want to laugh because it's you saying it's beautiful. But
right,
okay,
because I don't like weddings. I'm like, don't, if you get married, please don't
don't
ask me
invite
for
me.
don't invite me. I'll come to your after party, your reception. Don't ask me to be your bridesmaids. I don't want to buy a dress. I don't want to walk down the aisle. Like, I don't want to hear your vows. I don't know what it is. I'm a Grinch with that stuff. But this was and I did kind of miss the ceremony. But I was trying my best to get there on time. But I got there for the cocktail hour and the reception, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I don't know if it's because I have 3 drinks that could contribute to my euphoria feeling while I was there, euphoric feeling. But it was really really beautiful, and I actually really considered maybe giving marriage a serious thought. Not that anyone has
911, pick
not
me up
listen,
over here.
not that anyone has asked me recently.
911.
Not that anyone has offered a ring to me or asked me, but I'm just saying if they had, I would have been someone's wife yesterday. But fast forward to today, and then I'm not being anyone's wife because I see what married men do, and I don't want any parts of that. So, do I give details? I don't want to talk about this.
I think you can just okay. So part of this is the second episode. It is called Weekend Dick. So
Weekend dick.
I don't have any to report. I'm just gonna say. So I have to live vicariously through you.
Okay.
So
So I have it. Okay. So I'm 40 years old. I don't know. Sean, you
I'm
want to
not,
tell how old you are?
look.
Okay.
What did you say that I am supple over here? Okay.
Yeah, I'm supple. I'm supple. I'm supple and I'm
I'm,
tender and I'm
I'm soft and
flexible. I'm
supple.
putting that out there. I'm doing my stretches, so I'm flexible. Letting y'all know. However, there is something that I've been noticing with men that are in their 40s is that they
Mhm.
don't
I don't
last.
want to laugh. Yes.
They don't last long.
Hmm.
And you can chalk it up. Oh, I was
Hmm.
nervous, or you so
No, no
wet,
nervous.
or
No
I'm
nervous.
excited, or I was anticipating. All of that. But at the end of the day, your shit lasted 3 minutes, and I didn't finish. And now I have to finish because I have invested time into this situation, and I need to finish. So we're gonna have to make that happen. So I don't. Sean, you gotta help me because I want to tell the full story, but I don't want to tell the
Well,
full story. So help
well,
me.
okay. So I
Help me
what
tailor this.
okay. So just to comment on it, and I think you and I have talked about that there is a difference,
It is.
for a man. And I'm not just putting it on men, but I mean that's what it is. Like, look, you got to take care of yourself when you get a certain age, and
Mm-hmm.
it's, and you live a certain lifestyle. And I'm not saying that that's what necessarily what it is, but like you got to think, you drinking, you smoking, you running around, you're not taking it's gonna show up. You're not exercising, all kind of things. So I have seen where yeah, it's not when they 20s and they like,
Yeah.
look, 2 or 3 times is like nothing. Like now it's
Hmm.
like, it's
You
you
barely
gotta
getting one out.
you gotta dedicate your stamina
Yeah,
to
you
to
do.
this. And if you drink a little bit, or you might not be able to get it up for an extended period of time. Like
Hmm.
and if you do, it's not like it's just a little, it might be a little soft. And I'm just saying this is
Hmm.
my experience. I think you shared it, you understand. So you gotta come correct. Like
Yeah.
you gotta really
And don't
take
get me excited.
it. Don't get right. Don't
I'm gonna have expectations. I'm gonna have expectations. If those expectations are not met, then I'm gonna be disappointed. And yeah, it's not
but
good.
I agree, and I think this is the time, when you're, and I think it starts like in the late, for them, like late 30s, and
Hmm.
in early 40s. It's just like that your dick health and your
Yeah.
stamina quotient,
Hmm.
you've got to do some things to improve that. You got to look
Hmm.
at your diet. Like I said,
Uh-huh.
your diet and exercise. And look, if you smoking, stop
Stop.
smoking,
Yep.
because
Hmm.
that, I don't care what anybody says, that affects
It
your
does.
dick game all the way down. You smoking a cigarette a day or a pack a day, it's
Hmm.
going to have an effect.
Mhm.
So, oh, you think you could be out here smoking all the weed? That's well and good,
Mhm.
but
And, and
it's gonna
and
have an effect.
it's gonna have an effect. And all to kind of piggyback on that, like the guy actually is a pretty health conscious person. So,
Hmm.
and not to give too many details, but this wasn't our first,
Go
roll in the
round.
hay. Right. This
Mhm.
wasn't our first go round, and this wasn't the first time that he finished fast. So you can't keep chalking it up to, this is, I don't
Maybe you
know.
just excited him. Maybe, I mean, okay, so maybe we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was just, maybe it was a long time or something, and
Maybe.
you
I don't
just
know.
excited him or something. I'm trying to give him the
I
benefit of
don't
the
know.
doubt
But
because
I do know that if one of my good girlfriends, she is in school to be an acupuncturist, and I've actually looked into going to get acupuncture. There's a whole
I
list
love
of
acupuncture. I
yeah,
do
there's
it.
a whole list
Mhm.
of things that you can work on with an
Yep.
acupuncturist, and that's
Yep.
one of them. And I think men should look into alternative medicine. You don't always want to run to Viagra or whatever the new
Exactly.
drug is, but look into something that's natural, that's holistic to
That's a
correcting
great
this.
idea. Like I
Yeah.
said, you look at your diet, you look at what, and I love acupuncture. I mean, I've used acupuncture for all different things that have come up. Whether it's a headache or
Mhm.
a sprain or after surgery or something. So acupuncture is, it's very holistic. HOLISTIC, as well as holistic, WHOLISTIC. So it's really good for you, and I think that's an excellent idea. And
Mhm.
they have these acupuncturists that you can go, and it's like a communal acupuncture, and you pay what you want to pay, and you go in,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
and you sit in the chair. I definitely like that idea. I didn't even think of that, but that's a great one because
Yeah.
that will
It's
definitely get
and
the
that's important because women in our 40s, we have a high libido. Can I say,
libido.
and
Mhm. Yeah,
libido.
we like
So
we like to get
we
it.
like
We
to
like
get
to
it
get it
in.
in. And it's
You
like
know,
you can't be sloppy. It ain't like back in the day, remember, where it's like, oh, it's
yeah.
okay. No,
Yeah,
no.
no. Like I am quick to be like, I did not finish. And I want to finish. And we're gonna have to sit here until I finish. I am sorry.
I'm
This is
still
gonna
kind of nice about that. Like
I'm
still
not mean about
kind
it. I'm not mean about it, but I need you to know that you came, I need to come too. This is like we're in this together. And
of.
I'm very that's the one thing I appreciate about, turning, I'm 40 now, but I'd say between like maybe 35, 36, 37, I became more vocal about what I wanted. And now it's
Mhm.
like, I'm not going to be mean about it, but, the whole purpose for me of having sex is to enjoy
For
it
your
and to
enjoyment,
finish,
right? Right.
and if I didn't finish, then we got to figure out a way to help me finish. And
I
that's
definitely
just
I
what it is.
definitely agree with you. I think that has come with age and maturity, where it's like what you want, the experience, and like, damn it, if you're not gonna take me there, I need to get out and find somebody that will. Because
Right.
this is like a waste, and it's like a waste of time. Like, what are we doing?
Hmm.
I definitely don't want to be in a situation where it's just all about him. Like, remember when you were younger, you kind of catered to the
Yeah,
man,
you
and
did that, but I ain't doing that no
you did all that,
more.
but
No, well, I'm not doing that anymore. Cause
But I agree with you. I
because
agree.
I am like I can talk about sex and all day long. So I would rather pleasure myself and have the ultimate time and have a very small mediocre orgasm with you.
Right.
That's
We
just point blank. And if you want to watch me do that, you can most definitely do that. But um, I
go now. Go
you
now. That's what I'm
I'm just I'm saying you can watch me do it, but I'm going to finish, and
saying.
you're not going to leave until I finish because I put in time so that you can finish, and you're going to put in time so I can finish. So
Now, do you? His it's an intimate question because do you orgasm from? Do you need clitoral, like, do you or like oral stimulation, or can you actually orgasm from straight penetration?
I can orgasm from penetration. I can orgasm from penetration, and I can orgasm from clitoral. And the best orgasm is when you're getting penetrated and you're stimulating your clitoris. That that orgasm is fucking on Mars. It's
What,
amazing.
girl? Where's that ride at Disney World? I need to
Girl, I'm
go.
telling you, spend some time with yourself and figure out your body. And you know, a lot of women like I love a good sized penis. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie, I love a good sized penis. However, your G spot is with it's less than probably 3 inches inside your vagina. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So really you don't need a huge penis to orgasm. If you have someone who can really knows exactly where your spot is, because
Mhm.
it's right there. You
Or
can
willing to learn.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's right there. You know what I'm saying? And you find a person that's willing to learn your body and you can teach them about your and women, you have to learn your body. You can't teach someone how
Absolutely.
to help you orgasm if you don't even know your body. So learn your body and then teach your partner how to help, how to help you orgasm. And it will be amazing. But
Absolutely.
I can orgasm either way. I can orgasm either way.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're like a unicorn because that shit. I will say, like,
Because
for
let me
me,
tell you, it's
mhm.
mhm.
No, I'm listening. Go ahead, girl,
It
because
took
you're
me it took
talking.
me it took me a while to figure it out, how to do it vaginally. And my I'm gonna be full disclosure, my ex is probably the first person that was able to make me orgasm vaginally. It was
Okay.
I didn't know what the fuck was happening. I just didn't know what was happening. So he was the first one and he was very attentive in that sense. Um and then,
Mhm.
and then we split up and then, whatever. But and
Yeah,
yeah, so
I've had more that couldn't do it with penetration. Usually
mm,
it was like, all right, well, your head game got to be on point.
mhm,
Like I said, but it's been a unicorn. I've had a very, very few that could. And
mhm.
honestly, I don't even think they actually knew exactly what they were doing. I think it was more like positioning, and
Yeah.
just it just so happened. Like I'm not gonna give them. I'm not gonna give them the credit. But because I really don't think they, like, don't really know what you're doing, but it's
Mhm.
working. Like, that's
Yeah.
great.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
like, man, when I find them though, I'm not gonna let
Yeah.
go.
Jeez, man. And that was probably one of the hardest things about splitting up with my ex, because I'm like, wow. Wow. And now it's like, I haven't had that many partners, because it's funny because me and my ex were together for so long. And I just thought that once we split up, I was gonna be out here just having a horrific time. And it hasn't been like that at all. I was
It's a
gonna be out
party.
here
It's a
smoking.
party.
Right. It's gonna be a whole party every weekend, but it honestly has not been that at all. I don't know, maybe it's just maturity, but I want something that's substantial. I really feel like sex is a bonding kind of thing. So
Listen to you.
I know I sound mature today, but catch me
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Like, where the hoes at?
Right.
Where the
Where the
hoes?
hell's that? Catch me tomorrow. I'm just feeling a certain kind of way today. But
Got you.
you find a partner that can really, take their time with you, and you take your time with them. It's amazing. But I employ all the women that are listening to this, work on your body where you are having an orgasm, where you are stimulating your G spot and your clitoris at the same time. That shit is amazing. Amazing.
I'm gonna second that motion, girl.
Yeah. It's
Yes,
amazing. It
yes.
is amazing.
And you,
So,
yeah, and you definitely, you got to know your body. You got to know
yeah.
your body. So
Mhm.
I definitely agree, girl. I don't know how are we gonna go back woke when we went all the way ratchet. So I'm just I did want to touch on the Beast of No Nations because we were talking about it last week. So just
Mhm.
real quick, I did see it. Man, Idris Elba.
Idris. Mhm.
Um, I didn't like him in that role.
Yeah. Yeah. It took me I wasn't expecting this at all, and it took the air out of me watching this, and I had to finish it because I invested time in it.
Hmm.
So I wanted to see how it ended, but it was really sickening to me.
It
Just really
was.
took me.
I did appreciate the ending. It was, at least it didn't end on the saddest note ever, you know.
Mhm.
And just to give the premise of the movie without giving it away, you know, it was a day in the life, or the initiation of child mercenaries during a civil war in West Africa. And
Mhm.
that was the story. So
Yeah, and it was a fictional country. It wasn't really it was a fictional country, so it wasn't based
really.
off of it. Yeah, I think they took stories and the civil wars that were going on in different African nations, but the
Hmm.
actual place was a fictional place.
Yeah. So it was some of it was hard to watch. And somebody asked me, it's like, well, did you like it? It's like, it's not, you can't really, I can't say like I like a movie like that. Like, it was,
Right.
it's,
You can't like it something like that. And it's a movie I can't watch a second time. I watched
yeah,
it
I'm
one time and
good.
that's fine.
Yeah, I
I can't
definitely
do
agree. I
it
mean, it's worth watching, because it presents, I always like, it's what I call slice of life movies, like it played kind of like a documentary, even though it was based on a fictional, like you said, a fictional place and a fictional character, but these are true stories that have been adapted. So
again.
it's good to see something like this.
Hmm.
All right, so moving on.
There was really quick. There was a. Oh, you know what? While we're on the subject of Africa, there is something I want to talk about.
Mhm.
Before I talk about another movie. So I don't know if you're really familiar with the politics of Africa, but there was a president of Zimbabwe. His name was Mugabe. Um, he
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
just um, he was just ousted a couple some months ago, but he
Mhm.
implemented a policy of taking back the land from the white owners and giving it back to the Africans. Well, um, what was actually happening is that they were getting this land back from the African from the white landowners, and he was really dispersing it to like his friends. It wasn't like equally giving it out to people, and then the land wasn't getting worked. So before, when they had this economic base where they were like exporting food and feeding the country and feeding neighboring countries, now they're importing all of their goods. So they lost their economic base.
Mm.
So he was ousted because he wanted he's been in power, I don't know, 40, 50 years, a long time. And so
Yeah.
he made his wife the vice president so that she can take over once he died. And his best friend, who was also one of his partners in his regime, wasn't having it, so they ousted him. And so now I can't remember his name, but now he's the president. I guess they call it president of Zimbabwe.
Mhm.
But anyway, so now South Africa is doing the same thing. So their old president Zuma was ousted, and he was ratchet. He had all these kids and all these babies, and just really ratchet. So they have a
Mhm.
new president now who's implementing the same policy that Zimbabwe, because they're neighboring countries, um, implementing the same policies of taking the land away from the white owners and giving it to the Africans, back to the Africans. And when I visited South Africa, that was, you know,
Mhm.
my first thoughts when I got there was like, I can live here because it's very westernized. Sometimes I really forgot that I was actually in Africa. The music
Right.
they listen to, like they have their African music and it's African infused, but they listen to a lot of hip hop, a lot of American music, Western music. Um,
Mhm.
the style, it's very Western. So I kind of forgot sometimes. However, I, quickly I realized that apartheid was a very short memory away, because it's very clear of the social economic situation there, because all the blacks are
Mhm.
in subservient roles and all the white people are in power, and it's hard to be in. We're here, we're minorities. The majority of America is white, and we're like a minority here. To
Right.
be in a place where the majority of the people are African, and this is their ancestral land, but they're being ruled by a small ruling class of white people. It is like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's really heartbreaking. Um, so that was a point where I was like, I could live here, but I can't live here at
Yeah.
the same time. It's like something, and their apartheid happened back in the 90s. So that's what, like, 20, 30 years
Yes.
ago, 20,
Right.
20 years
A
ago.
second ago.
Right. Where our civil rights was back in the 60s, and we're still fighting, but they're still fresh in it, you
Mhm.
know.
Right.
So it was hard. It was kind of hard to deal with, but they're going through that whole process now of taking the land back from the whites and giving it to the Africans. So I want to see how this works out, how this plays out, and hopefully they'll able to implement some sort of structure where the land will actually get worked, you know, and they can still be profitable, you know, with this land. It's not sitting there growing. I'm watching that story. So I just kind of
Okay.
want to
All
talk about
right.
that real quick. Um, and then also, I know we're not going to really talk about this right now, so you have to watch this movie.
Mhm.
Roxanne,
Yes,
you have to watch it.
I will absolutely, I watch it tonight because I thought it was coming out March 31st. I didn't
Hmm.
realize it was this past weekend, and I, was doing a family thing, so I didn't get to see it. But look, I will watch it tonight,
Yes, watch
and
it.
we will have. So was it good?
I watched it like 3 times. So
Really? Okay, so it was good.
it was good because it was nostalgic because it just brought back so many memories from like that time when hip hop was like really starting. And I just remember like
Mm.
around that time, like you go outside and that's all you would hear was somebody was playing, you know, Run DMC or somebody was playing Grandmaster Flash or somebody, you know, the music was there and you know the kids was out with their cardboard breakdancing and
Yeah.
I swear when Roxanne Shante came out, I wanted my name to be Shante so bad. I used to be so jealous of girls whose name was Shante because I wanted to be, you know, wanted my name to be Shante. But it's a really it's a really cute movie. Um, I think it could have been a long like I wouldn't have mind it being like a 4 episode series or a 3 episode series. Like I think it could have had some more meat to it, but it was a good watch. Excuse me, it was a really good watch.
Okay, so
Hmm.
I'm invested. I'm in. I'm gonna watch it. So this is actually a great segue into this part of our podcast, which we promised that we would do, and it's our throwback moment or throwback minute, or where we
Hmm.
talk about songs that specifically hip hop songs that have influenced us, a throwback from our childhood or our teen years,
Hmm.
that brings back memories. So I wanted to bring up a song that it I've you know what I played a song right now, today I play it. It's Remember Buck 'Em Down by Black Moon, the remix.
Girl, do I? Yes, dude, that was like one
So
of my favorite groups. What?
which was one of my, so let me just bring you back. So that was probably, I think that song came out in 95,
It
94,
did.
95.
It was
Yeah.
95. Yep.
So I remember, that was just imagine, this is like New York back in the day, and they were performing at Home Base, which was a club that was in the meatpacking district in New York.
Hmm.
And I wanted to go to the concert, and for some reason, I went over to a girlfriend's house, and we were, sleeping over, and I didn't tell my parents I was gonna go to the concert. So I just remember taking the train to Home Base, and it's around 8 o'clock, and we're going to the club, and remember that the gear is backpacks. I got my back
Hmm.
on, I got my Reeboks on, I got my my t-shirt or my jean jacket on, and girl, I remember coming out the train station, and of all places and of all time, this was like 12th Street and like 17th, 14th Street, 14th Street, and like West Side. I come
Hmm.
out of the train station, mind you, my parents thought that I was at a girlfriend's house sleeping over. My mother and father
Oh
went
Lord.
and was having dinner and was outside the
Shut
train
up.
station. I was so scared. I ran back on the train and went home. I was so
Oh
scared.
my
I was
gosh.
so embarrassed and so scared because I wasn't supposed to be out. So anyway, that was the first time I was supposed to go see them. I remember that. I think I didn't even get in trouble. It spooked me that of all places, my parents would in and out there outside the train station.
Did they
So
see you?
they saw me and they smiled.
Oh.
And I went back down the train. I ran down them stairs and I got back on the train and I left my homegirl. I left my
Oh
homegirl.
no.
I was just so in shock because I was like, they're not supposed to be here of all things. Like, my father never took my mother out to New York City in a restaurant. They was out. So anyway, that was the first time. So the second time I got to actually see Black Moon in concert. I had a crush on this boy. His name was Michael, and
Oh Lord, Michael.
Mike was light skinned. That was when I was having my light skin movement. You always
You've
say
been
that.
having your light skin moment for a long time. And
Not
I don't
true.
care. I don't care what you say, Sean. For as long as I've known you, all the guys you have ever met were light
That
skinned.
is so not true. Remember Marlon? How dark was Marlon?
I don't
Marlon was
remember
black
Marlon.
as midnight.
I don't
You don't remember?
No.
Okay, we're gonna have Marlon.
I think you just made him
Okay.
up.
No, because you was right there. You was there. I've had, girl, I've had midnight. I've had chocolate. I've had brown. And, I don't know why, but anyway, this was high school. So high school, I had a little light skin thing, and you know what? It came back to haunt me because I had such a crush on him, and when he found out that I liked him, his crush was even bigger than my crush, and I swear, he called me like 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. It got ridiculous. But anyway, but I remember one of our first little dates was we went to a Black Moon concert, and girl, we were on the stage. I just remember they were performing, and remember the 5 footer buckshot shorty and pop, and they were like 5 feet high, and we were like dancing on stage, and we were up there like buck 'em down, and I just remember that was such a good memory, and it was like one of my first trips into a club. Like I was like, I'm really in a club, and I think I ordered like a beer, and I don't even drink beer, and I had a fake ID. I wasn't supposed to be in there, but it was just like it was so live. So that's my memory of Black Moon. I saw them perform in concert. That was hip hop for me. That was a good memory.
That was like 94, 95 great top, because a lot of people dropped in 94, 95. A lot of people had albums. Like Gangstar had their album, Nas had his album, Biggie, Boot Camp Clip. I think
Jay-Z came out because they kind of they overshadowed Black Moon. Black Moon was like it was killing it.
Yeah,
but they, kind of overshadowed by that was a great time in hip hop.
Yeah, it was. I love Black Moon. Even to this day, I think my first memory concert is back in Baltimore. I was a freshman in Morgan, and they were performing. So this had to have been like 95. They were performing at Coppin State. Their homecoming. I remember I had a ride there, but I did not have a ride back. I didn't care.
Who cares?
I did not care, and that was like that show was dope as shit. I was so hyped, and I think the last time I've seen them was they performed at, I think they were at Governor's Ball. This was like when Governor's Ball was still around, but was it Governor's Ball or no, I think it was Brooklyn Hip Hop Fest like years ago when I first moved to New York. And then I also saw them on, I think it was just Black Moon I saw on it was some sort of cruise. Girl, I'll be finding random shit to go to. So it was a cruise and they were performing. That shit was so dope. I got a video. Girl, it was the dopest shit. I don't know what it was, but maybe I was because I was on a boat. I had it was really dope. So I love Boot Camp Click. I love Black Moon, Helter Skelter. Rest in peace, Sean Price. I love all of them.
Oh wow, Helter Skelter.
Yeah,
well,
they're one of my favorite groups.
Rocking. Well, what was their name? Smith and West. Their name was Smith and Wesson, wasn't it? Before Helter Skelter.
No, Helter Skelter is a separate group. Smith and Wesson is a separate is a different group.
That's right.
They're separate, but their body of work from the 90s. Oh my God, that puts me in a zone. That puts me in a zone. I put it on. I put the music on and just let it go. That puts me in a zone. That was a good time in hip hop. 94, 95, 96. That was a man. That was a time.
I don't think we'll never
That
get
was
it
a
back.
time.
And we'll never get
Girl,
it back.
I
But
don't
that's
know.
okay because as
No.
long as we're here, we can still bring life to those memories.
Mhm.
We've got so many memories of that time period. So I'm excited to be sharing. So this is just a little bit like, talking about Buck 'em Down. The remix, because the other one was kind of slow, but the
Yeah.
remix
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
fire. And I could
Buck 'em
still, like I
down, buck
said,
'em
I
down.
can play that today. I play it, it's on my playlist. I still listen to it. Um,
Mhm.
and like I said, it just brings back so many memories. So,
Mhm. And they
um,
get a lot of love in Europe. They're always traveling
well, they
over in.
all do. I mean, you see,
Yes.
like a lot of these artists, like the Big Daddy Kanes, and
Mhm.
they're huge in Europe. That's
Yep.
where the money is. Why? Because they have a certain appreciation that
Yeah.
we don't have.
Mhm.
They do. They bring a certain
It's
appreciation
unfortunate.
and a certain love for it, to the actual music because it is an art form, and they have a respect for art that we don't have, and that's why. But we're gonna bring a little piece of that here. So
Yep.
keep listening. So, all right, I think we've done enough dick talk and gun control talk and some other stuff for the week. So, is there anything else that you want to bring before we wrap this up?
Okay. Well, I think we had a really good episode.
I think so. I think we've reached our dicks and guns quotient for the night. So I think we can definitely end on that note.
Yes.
Nye, what is the website for questions, comments, and all that good
So
stuff?
yes, you guys can go on our website. It's that's what I'm saying podcast.com. Hit us up there, subscribe to us so you know when we are dropping our every episode. I definitely want to give a huge shout out to our producer, Vegas World Inc. That's his Twitter name. He has been so helpful in getting this podcast off the ground. So definitely hit him up, Vegas World Inc. on Twitter.
Yep, and our Twitter handle is what I say three, like the number three. So on that note, we will catch y'all next week. That's
All
what I'm
right, y'all.
saying.
That's what I'm saying, y'all.
Bye bye.
Peace.
Drop it on the random.